Good morning, class 9. Today we will start a new lesson in history, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. You must have heard of Hitler as a ruler. In this chapter, we are going to study what kind of a ruler was Hitler, how did he treat the people, what were his policies, etc. This whole chapter is very important, children. Many things are there which I will tell you to mark. So a pencil should always be there in your hand while we do the whole lesson. Keep on marking things, keep on revising things, because such kind of lessons have to be read several times so that you can retain what we are studying. Now let us start. Nazism and the rise of Hitler. In the spring of 1945, a little 11-year-old German boy called Helmut was lying in bed when he overheard his parents discussing something in serious tones. His father, a prominent physician, deliberated with his wife whether the time had come to kill the entire family or if he should commit suicide alone. His father spoke about his fear of revenge, saying, "Now the Allies will do to us what we did to the crippled and Jews." The next day, he took Helmut to the woods where they spent their last happy time together, singing old children's songs. Later, Helmut's father shot himself in his office. Helmut remembers that he saw his father's bloody uniform being burnt in the family fireplace. So traumatized was he. So traumatized means he was in shock. He was in a state of shock. So traumatized was he by what he had overheard and what had happened that he reacted by refusing to eat at home for the following 9 years. He was afraid that his mother might poison him. Although Helmut may not have realized all that it meant, his father had been a Nazi and a supporter of Adolf Hitler. Many of you will know something about the Nazis and Hitler. You probably know of Hitler's determination to make Germany into a mighty power and his ambition of conquering all of Europe. You may have heard that he killed Jews. But Nazism was not one or two isolated acts. Let us try and understand what Nazism was all about. Let us see why Helmut's father killed himself and what the basis of his fear was. In May 1945, Germany surrendered to the Allies. Now the word Allies is coming again and again, children, and you will see that the meanings of some new words are given on various pages. As you can see, the meaning of Allies is given here at the bottom of the page. The Allied powers were initially led by the UK and France. In 1941, they were joined by USSR and USA. That means the Allied powers consisted of UK, France, USSR and USA. They fought against the Axis powers, namely Germany, Italy and Japan. I am reading from the last paragraph once again. In May 1945, Germany surrendered to the Allies. Germany was one of the Axis powers. It surrendered to the Allies. Anticipating what was coming, Hitler, his propaganda minister, Goebbels, and his entire family committed suicide collectively in his Berlin bunker in April. At the end of the war, an international military tribunal at Nuremberg was set up to prosecute Nazi war criminals for crimes against peace, for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Germany's conduct during the war, especially those actions which called to be called crimes against humanity, raised serious moral and ethical questions and invited worldwide condemnation. What were these acts? Now, an important paragraph begins. Till now, here, children, you don't have to learn anything as such. On the first page of the lesson, there is nothing for you to learn as such. Only two important things you can learn, which is given in new words heading at the bottom of the page. The Allied powers consisted of UK, France, later joined by USSR and USA, and the Axis powers contained Germany, Italy and Japan. This you must remember. Now let us begin with the second paragraph. Under the shadow of the Second World War, Germany had waged a genocidal war. Now, genocidal again is a new word for you, and see the meaning is given on the right hand side. Genocidal means killing on large scale, leading to destruction of large sections of people. That means when large sections of people were killed on a large scale, it was called genocidal war. Germany had waged a genocidal war which resulted in the mass murder of selected groups of innocent civilians of Europe. All people were not murdered in this genocidal war. Only some selected sections of people living in the society were murdered, which included groups of innocent civilians of Europe. The number of people killed included 6 million Jews, 2 lakh gypsies, 1 million Polish civilians, 70,000 Germans who were considered mentally and physically disabled, besides innumerable political opponents. Nazis devised an unprecedented means of killing people. Unprecedented means a unique system of killing people was devised, was invented or introduced by the Nazis. Nazis devised an unprecedented means of killing people, that is, by gassing them in various killing centers like Auschwitz. Now, children, you will study all this in detail in this lesson later on, but just now, since the word gassing them has come, so I am just telling you that the Nazis used to kill innocent people by locking them up in gas chambers. There were rooms where poisonous gases were released, and the innocent people were locked up in those gas chambers, and they used to die due to suffocation. So this was a unique method, unique system devised by the Nazis to kill innocent civilians. Nazis devised an unprecedented means of killing people, that is, by gassing them in various killing centers like Auschwitz. The Nuremberg tribunal sentenced only 11 leading Nazis to death. Many others were imprisoned for life. The retribution means the punishment for this criminal activity. The retribution did come, yet the punishment of the Nazis was far short of the brutality. That means, although the Nazis were punished for gassing the people, for putting the people in gas chambers and killing them, they were punished, but the punishment was very less. The crime was so big that the punishment that they got for this criminal act was very little. The retribution did come, yet the punishment of the Nazis was far short of the brutality and the extent of their crimes. Their crimes were too big, and the punishment was little. The Allies did not want to be as harsh on defeated Germany as they had been after the First World War. Everyone came to feel that the rise of Nazi Germany could be partly traced back to the German experience at the end of the First World War. What was this experience? Now your main chapter begins, where you will see many important things which I will tell you. You will have to mark them and keep learning and keep revising them. Birth of the Weimar Republic. Germany, a powerful empire in the early years of the 20th century, fought the First World War alongside the Austrian Empire and against the Allies. The Allies are England, France and Russia. Underline all this. This you have to learn. Which were the Axis powers and which were the Allied powers. The Allied powers were England, France and Russia. All joined the war enthusiastically, hoping to gain from a quick victory. Little did they realize that the war would stretch on, eventually draining Europe of all its resources. That means all the wealth of Europe was drained out due to continuous wars which continued for so many years. Germany made initial gains by occupying France and Belgium. However, the Allies, strengthened by the US entry in 1917, won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers in November 1918. The defeat of Imperial Germany and the abdication of the Emperor gave an opportunity to parliamentary parties to recast German polity. German polity means German form of government. This line is important. I am reading again. Pay attention. The imperial defeat of Germany. See, in the previous paragraph, in the last line, we have read that the Allies, strengthened by the US entry, won. The Allies won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers. The Central Powers means the Axis powers. They were defeated. Germany was defeated by the entry of the US. US won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers. Now in the next paragraph it's written, the defeat of the Imperial Germany, that means the big empire, the German Empire was defeated. The defeat of Imperial Germany and the abdication of the Emperor, that means the Emperor here, after Germany being defeated, the Emperor was asked to abdicate the throne or leave the throne or vacate the throne. Gave an opportunity to parliamentary parties to recast German polity. With the defeat of Germany, the parliamentary parties got an opportunity to formulate new policies as far as the government of Germany was concerned, as far as the politics, the form of government was concerned. New system was to be made now. Lots of changes had to be brought about in the politics, in the form of government of Germany. A National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. Underline this. This was the first thing that was done. A National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. Deputies were now elected to the German Parliament or Reichstag. Very, very important. What is important? German Parliament or Reichstag. Underline this, because this all comes very often in a 1-mark question. What was the German Parliament known as? So you will write the answer as Reichstag. The German Parliament was given the name as Reichstag. Underline. Deputies were now elected to the German parliament or Reichstag. Underline the whole line, but this part is specially very important. On the basis of equal and universal votes cast by all adults including women. The whole line till women is the second point. The first change you have marked as the National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. I think, children, the first point you will mark as the first line should be the first point. The defeat of Imperial Germany and abdication of the emperor gave an opportunity to the parliamentary parties to recast German polity. This you mark as first. Then second point, the National Assembly met at Weimar. This is second point. And third point is deputies were now elected to the German parliament or Reichstag on the basis of equal and universal votes cast by all adults including women. This republic, which republic? The Weimar Republic. This republic, however, was not received well by its own people, largely because of the terms it was forced to accept after Germany's defeat at the end of the First World War. The terms and conditions which were put forward before this republic were not welcomed by the people, because the people were now forced to accept strange terms and conditions after the defeat of Germany at the end of the First World War. The peace treaty at Versailles with the Allies was a harsh and humiliating peace. The peace treaty of Versailles, that means the Treaty of Versailles, was not actually a peace-giving treaty, it was a humiliating treaty which was signed with the Allies. Germany lost its overseas colonies. Underline, this was the impact of the Treaty of Versailles. Germany lost its overseas colonies, a tenth of its population, 13% of its territories, 75% of its iron, 26% of its coal to France, Poland, Denmark and Lithuania. Underline all this. The Allied powers demilitarized Germany to weaken its power. Underline all this. It was a result of the Treaty of Versailles. The Allied powers demilitarized Germany to weaken its power. That means the military control of Germany was also weakened now. The war guilt clause held Germany responsible for the war and the damages the Allied countries suffered. Germany was forced to pay compensation amounting to £6 billion. The Allied armies also occupied the resource-rich Rhineland for much of the 1920s. All this is the consequence of the Treaty of Versailles, children. So please underline all this, and this you have to learn also. Many Germans held the new Weimar Republic responsible for not only the defeat in the war but the disgrace at Versailles. So many people, many Germans thought that the new Weimar Republic was responsible not only for their defeat in the First World War, but also the disgrace which they had to face at Versailles when the Treaty of Versailles was signed. So this whole paragraph is very, very important and you will have to learn it. The effects of the war. The war had a devastating impact. That means the impact of the war was disastrous. The war had a devastating impact on the entire continent, both psychologically and financially. From a continent of creditors, Europe turned into one of debtors. That means earlier the financial condition of Europe was so strong that it gave money as loans to the nations, to other nations. But now it was financially so weak that it had to take loans from other countries. Unfortunately, the infant Weimar Republic was being made to pay for the sins of the old empire. The Republic carried the burden of war guilt and national humiliation and was financially crippled by being forced to pay compensation. So, the Weimar Republic was also bearing losses because it had to pay for the sins of the old empire. It had to it had to bear the burden of the war guilt and national humiliation and was financially crippled by being forced to pay a compensation for the losses which they had incurred in the war. Those who supported the Weimar Republic, many socialists, Catholics and Democrats, became easy targets of attack in the conservative nationalist circles. They were mockingly called the November criminals. Underline this, children. Underline this and you will have to learn this. A question can be asked, and it is asked also in the exams. What do you mean by November criminals? Or who were called as the November criminals? So you will have to write from here. Those who supported the Weimar Republic, mainly socialists, Catholics and Democrats, became easy targets of attack in the conservative nationalist circles. They were mockingly called as November criminals. This mindset had a major impact on the political developments of the early 1930s, as we will soon see. The First World War left a deep imprint on European society and polity, that means the form of government. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. Now underline and keep writing. This is point number 1. What was the deep imprint of the First World War, deep impact of the First World War on the European society and European politics? First impact is the soldiers came to be placed above civilians. That means they were given a high place in the society. Politicians and publicists laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive, strong and masculine. This is the second impact. Politicians and publicists, that means those who used to publicize things in the society, they laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive. That means according to them, men should be full of anger, they should be rebellious by nature. Strong and masculine. Masculine here means they should have lot of physical strength. The media glorified trench life. The media glorified trench life. This you will not underline as such. The truth, however, was that soldiers lived miserable lives in these trenches. Now see, the media glorified trench life. That means the lives of those people who used to live hiding in different places, hiding in trenches, hiding themselves. The life of such people was glorified by the media. That means they were highlighted by the media. The lives of those people who lived in trenches or those who hid themselves here and there, the lives of such people was glorified, was popularized by the media. Okay, this you can mark as the third point. And the continuation of the third point is the coming line. The truth was that soldiers who lived in trenches, the soldiers lived in trenches. The lives of the soldiers was a very difficult one. They did not live in a very comfortable state. Their life was full of difficulty. We all know that soldiers of every country, they have a very tough life. They live in very harsh conditions. They don't live like we are living so comfortably. So they used to live in trenches. They used to hide themselves in order to protect themselves from danger, in order to protect themselves from their enemies, in order to protect themselves from any kind of attack from the enemy. They had to hide in trenches. But actually, the real position was, the truth was that the soldiers lived miserable lives in these trenches, trapped with the rats feeding on corpses. Corpses means dead bodies. The dead bodies were fed by, the rats used to feed on the dead bodies. That means the dead bodies became the food for rats. They faced poisonous gas and enemy shelling and witnessed their ranks reduce rapidly. This was another problem which the soldiers faced. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in the public sphere. This is point number 4. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in the public sphere, while popular support grew for conservative dictatorship that had recently come into being. That means aggressive war propaganda. People were encouraged to join the war, join the army and become aggressive. Men were told to be aggressive, full of anger, full of bravery. They should have enthusiasm, they should be brave enough, they should have the spirit of anger, and they should be rebellious by nature. So this kind of attitude was now made popular. It was being propagated, and popular support grew for conservative dictation. I think I have left one line. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in the public sphere. This was now highlighted and brought in front of the public, that if people like this are going to become more rebellious, if men are going to become more rebellious, then they would be more honored in the society. It would become a matter of national honor, and this was now made popular among the masses. While popular support grew for conservative dictatorship that had recently come into being. Popular support, the people now supported, more people supported the conservative dictatorship policy which had recently come into being. That means the one person, one ruler is going to dictate terms, and the people are going to follow what he says. Democracy was indeed a young, fragile idea. Democracy was indeed a young, fragile idea. Why it became a fragile idea, a weak idea, an idea that could be easily done away with? Because now the concept of dictatorship was made popularized, was being popularized. Dictatorship was popularized, and democracy, the idea of democracy, was fading away from the society. Democracy was indeed a young and fragile idea which could not survive the instabilities of the interwar Europe. When dictatorship was made popular, then democracy under those terms and conditions, or democracy in that atmosphere, can never sustain itself. Political radicalism and economic crisis. The birth of the Weimar Republic coincided with the revolutionary uprising of the Spartacist League. Spartacist League, children, please underline and write down what was it. I am telling you a small meaning of this term. Spartacist League was a revolutionary movement during the First World War. It was a revolutionary movement during the First World War. The birth of the Weimar Republic coincided with the revolutionary uprising of the Spartacist League on the pattern of Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Soviets of workers and sailors were established in many cities. The political atmosphere in Berlin was charged with the demands of Soviet-style governance. Those opposed to this, such as the socialists, the democrats and the Catholics, met in Weimar to give shape to the democratic republic. The Weimar Republic crushed the uprising with the help of war veterans organization called Free Corps. The anguished Spartacists, anguish means angry, those who were full of anger. The anguished Spartacists later founded the Communist Party of Germany. Communists and socialists henceforth became irreconcilable enemies and could not make common cause against Hitler. Both revolutionaries and militant nationalists craved for radical solutions. Political radicalization was only heightened by the economic crisis of 1923. Children, in the first paragraph which I have read just now on this page 53, you don't have to learn anything. Germany had fought the war largely on loans and had to pay war reparations in gold. This depleted gold reserves at a time resources were scarce. In 1923, Germany refused to pay and the French occupied its leading industrial area, Ruhr, to claim their coal. When Germany could not make good the losses which were incurred in the war, then it refused to pay. It refused to pay the money which it had to pay, and French occupied the industrial area called Ruhr to claim the coal resources. Germany retaliated. That means it became angry and it answered back. Germany retaliated with passive resistance and printed paper currency recklessly. With too much printed money in circulation, the value of the German mark fell. In April, the US dollar was equal to 24,000 marks in July, 3,53,000 marks in August, 4 crores 6 lakhs 21,000 marks, and by December the figure had run into trillions. Children, there is a big misprint in my book, so I have missed out 2-3 words. I hope your books have the figures written, because my book has a lot of misprinting here. As the value of the mark collapsed, prices of goods soared. The image of Germans carrying cartloads of Germany notes to buy a loaf of bread was widely publicized, evoking worldwide sympathy. This crisis came to be known as hyperinflation, a situation when prices rise phenomenally high. Hyperinflation, that means when the prices rise beyond expectation. The prices rise too much. People never expect that there will be so much of rise in prices. Eventually, the Americans intervened and bailed Germany out of the crisis by introducing the Dawes Plan, which reworked the terms of reparation to ease the financial burden on Germans. In order to release the financial burden on Germans,